Hi everybody, welcome back to The Great Someday. Today we're planting up the last run of seeds before it's time to plant out in the garden. We're about 5 or 6 weeks before the last anticipated frost date. So I am doing up, actually today I'm doing some climbing spinach, some Malabar spinach, and some Nasturtium vesuvius, which is a really dark blue-green leaf with a bright red flower. I really like them, and they're both edible. I love the climbing spinach because it's a long season. It'll go all season long in the heat and everything, and it climbs, and it's beautiful. It has a similar flavor and texture to spinach, but it's not actually. So I'm going to teach you how to plant seeds to get them started. So you'll notice that I have some 6-packs filled with our favorite soil mix. And they're filled very loosely, not at all compacted and smushed in. They're very loosely packed. And because my seeds today are relatively small, I'm going to do them in 6-packs. If I had larger seeds, like some butternut squash or some zucchini, then I'll use a larger cup, something like a yogurt cup with some drainage holes poked in, or a plastic 8-ounce cup is great. That's what we're going to use to get our squash started. We start our squash ahead just to get a jump on the squash bugs. So
squash
I have
bugs suck.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're bad.
I don't like them either. So my 6-packs are filled and ready for my smaller seeds. These would work great for tomatoes.
I'm going to stop you for a second. Those are not exactly the smaller seeds. Those seeds are kind of huge.
These are nasturtium.
Yeah.
So smaller seeds like maybe
lettuce seed or
borage is another small one I'm going to get done today. That's still pretty big, okay?
They're still pretty big.
And then I'm even going to do some teeny tiny portulaca today, which is a moss rose. I love those.
Well, I can tell over here, I just got done doing ground cherries, and the ground cherry seeds are
those little white
that little thing right there. That's a ground cherry seed. They're teeny tiny. All right.
Here are the moss rose seeds.
Those things are ridiculous.
So I will just surface sow those, but for the most part.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. That was great.
Just those nasturtium seeds are just. I like planting them because they're so big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comparatively.
I thought they would be good to do on camera.
I think it's great. Yeah, they really are. They really shine off the dirt.
We're going to start by gathering some information about our plant once our tray is ready. So you can look on the back of your seed packet, and usually on the back it's going to tell you what type of plant it is, an annual or a perennial, how deep to plant it. So my Malabar spinach got planted 1/4 inch deep. And then in the end, when we get them in the garden, we want them 10 to 12 inches apart. They take full sun. They get 8 to 10 feet. Yeah, see that? That's just one little
dash.
I guess dash. I think it's more like, I don't know, apostrophe. But that means feet. It actually gets that big. And it takes 10 to 15 days to germinate. You want to start them 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. And for today, that's what we're actually looking for, is this on the back of our seed label.
I think we're
right on that line.
We're past that line, to be honest. We're planting late. But
these are a little bit late for 6 to 8 weeks. And if you're thinking of doing tomatoes, it's probably time to put some hustle in your bustle, because
it might be too
right
late
on
too.
that line.
Yeah,
they'll just be small for planting out. And that's okay with me. That's okay.
No, they'll grow.
Okay. So I have them laid out, and one seed goes in one cell. If you do more than one seed per one cell, then you're going to end up having to thin them, and maybe even
a cell looks like that.
Yeah, a cell, one planting spot. Okay. If you do more than one seed, then you're going to end up with
crowding.
Seedlings being too crowded and competing for the nutrients in the soil, the water, and just basic growing space. The only difference with that is we start all of our tomatoes in cups to force them, because we know we're going to transplant them. But for you beginning growers, I want you to just put one seed per one cell. Okay? And then you'll pay attention to how deep your seeds are supposed to be planted. Okay?
How deep are the nasturtiums supposed to
The
be planted?
nasturtium should be planted a 1/2 inch.
Why don't you show us what that looks like?
I'm going to.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I just wanted to save these for next time.
All right, we have a lot of saved seeds. That's
What?
that's not even
I do
anything.
not have a seed problem.
You don't even want to know. That's not even a seed.
No.
Like that's nothing. Okay.
I do not have seed problem.
No, I'm.
I help a lot of people. My feet are big.
Whatever. Okay,
And I love it.
plant the seeds.
Okay.
All right.
The Malabar spinach went in just a 1/4 inch, so I just tucked them in about that far. For my nasturtium, I'm going to put them in a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to take them down, you know, about a 1/2 inch. Is this an exact science? No. Nobody's getting the ruler out, guys. It's not a big deal. Poke them in, and once you have them poked in, gently fluff the soil over them, okay? And then this is pretty important. I'm going to stop here because I can do this without you guys watching. This takes a lot of space, and very few people are going to need this many 6-packs of nasturtium or anything really. Just us, because clearly I have issues.
Yeah, you like flowers and plants and.
But if you do, good for you.
Mm.
If we have a whole flat of something like the ground cherries, we just tag the tray with 1 tag. But it's so important that you label.
Take the time to label. Holy moly, it's so important.
Yeah, because otherwise you're guessing.
I was doing peppers last night, and there was a couple that it took quite a bit of investigating to figure out what they were.
That's
Yeah,
my fault.
that was. I wasn't throwing fingers out there, but if you want to point them.
All me. I messed it up.
Yeah, we got to figure it out
Okay,
though.
so you'll label each pack. Once you have all your
What are labels made of? That's kind of
Oh,
interesting too. Yeah.
Friends saved their old plastic Venetian blinds, and then we cut them into, what is that, like 3 inches? 3-inch segments?
Roughly, yeah.
And then we snap them in half,
And
and
that's
that gives
tags.
us
Recycle tags.
a recycled tag. They'll last a couple years in the ground, but I figure 1 or 2 more uses before they go into the landfills better than just sending them straight away.
Right.
So once you have all your seeds planted, I know I don't have mine planted, but I want to keep this video short to honor your time
Water.
and mine. Yeah, we'll do a quick water. And give them a nice little drink. And I'm going to stop there since I'm not finished.
Now normally we'd have them all planted, so
Yeah,
you'd
we
do the
have them all
whole tray.
planted. And then you'll want to cover them with something. If you don't have these clear plastic lids, you can put some sticks in there and just cover it over with saran wrap, but you don't want saran wrap covering the soil directly, okay? You'll take this in, and we're going to keep ours inside until they sprout, and as soon as they begin to sprout, the cover comes off and they go out to the greenhouse. If you don't have a greenhouse,
The most sunny place that you have.
the most sunny place you have, and they'll still stretch. So the best option that you can get is a fluorescent light and put them 2 inches above the highest sprout. Fluorescent lights are an aquarium light is the best, but who has those laying around, right? The best thing you can do is get them to a light source 2 inches above the highest plant. And fluorescent is the most readily available, and it's only missing 1 bar of the red spectrum for natural light. So it's a pretty good backup plan for an indoor light source. Okay?
Okay.
Please leave us your questions in the comments. We want to help you learn how to do these things on your own. Doug and I had to learn these things the hard way, and we'd love to save you some of that. So, thanks so much for watching The Great Someday. We hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe, and we'll get back with you with any questions.
All right.
Have a good day.
Rock on.